Good morning. This is a foreigner in the Philippines, a foreigner and Beth, my lovely wife, who is protesting having to do this because she hasn't been well for a couple of days and says that she doesn't look as lovely as she usually does.
I didn't say that.
Not true.
Yeah, so welcome to the foreigner in the Philippines.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, and looking forward for another years to come, and what brings these years to us and to you also, whoever you are, wherever you are. So as of this morning, we got, just want to give an update about the financial status of Fragile Filipina Beauty. So as of January 2, 2017, around 9 in the morning, oh my god, the dog is starting.
Sorry about that, but we live in the real world, and those damn dogs bark whenever anybody new gets on the scene.
Yeah, before it's chicken, So as of now, we gathered, the total that we gathered is 333,698.72 pesos. So
72 pesos.
yeah, so that's what we gathered. So thank you to those who sent gifts. And less the expenses, the twice going back to Cebu for the laboratory, some x-rays, some MRI, and other tests, some medications, and some groceries, some fares, All the expenses is 51,185.89 pesos. So less of that expenses, we have the remaining of 282,512.68 pesos to be allocated for NISA surgery.
Is that all for NISA surgery?
Yeah, NISA surgery.
That we've got.
So we're hoping that by the next 2 weeks, because in the next 2 weeks we're going back to Cebu for another laboratory test, and that's the time that the doctor will find out if NISA is cleared for operations.
So
if she is physically
what are we
fit.
doing to prepare her for this right now?
Yeah, we give some, the doctor prescribes some medications for the TB, to cure the TB, the tuberculosis, and some iron. There are 2 tablets every day.
Iron deficiency.
Iron deficiency or anemia, anti-anemia, like that. So we give that, we both for that. And also every other 2 days, we will give NISA some groceries and some vegetable and fruits, to give her good health.
There's a problem there on that because she is Filipina, obviously, and Filipinas don't take for themselves. This is just a fact of life, that share is part of the genes.
Yeah.
They share, and she has a younger brother who is it 12?
Yeah, 12.
10 or 12, and an older brother who is still younger than her, but he's about 23, isn't he, or 24?
20, I think 23.
23. So whatever food we're sending down is really for her, so that we can fatten her up and get her healthy. She has a very poor blood count, or whatever they call that. The hemoglobin is down around 4.5. Now, one of our subscribers said, 4.5? Are you kidding me? When it gets down as low as 9, where I live, they start giving blood transfusions. So she's pretty low on this, and we need to get her up there. But she lives down there, away. She's not close to us, but we send food down there in the hope that she will actually take it seriously about getting healthy, and that's an uphill struggle.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to
so that's our update as of when it comes to our financial. So all the names who sends gifts at the end of this long process, your name will be revealed. So just the code name, or just the first
name or code name.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to have their name revealed.
Yeah, just the code name, and some anonymous. So we appreciate, we understand if you want to be anonymous. So again, thank you very much. And as of for the diabetic Michael, just to wrap up, so for the diabetic, for Michael, the diabetic, so thanks to Sir Garrett who sent $100.
Are we going to give out these names now?
Yes.
Why different to
Yeah, because
Mason.
it's the final thing, you know.
Well, we think that we're done with Michael.
I
Are we
think
done with
just
Michael?
in case if there's some add-on, we just make another video.
Yeah, just to give you an update on Michael.
just
He came to us when we were winding up at the three little girls' house, and he asked for our help. It turns out that he is diabetic. It turns out that he is stage 1 diabetic. We went to the doctor with him. We took him to the doctor, and then finally, against the early hesitation of his parents, we managed to get him into hospital. So we got him into the hospital, and he had some tests done. He was discharged, was it a day later, 2 days later?
yeah, just one
So
a
he only
day,
stayed-
just a day, you know,
he
24
only-
hours.
Yeah, so he didn't stay long. And it turned out, actually, that the good news was that he had Phil Health, which is the government cheap insurance.
Yeah.
So he was covered for a certain amount, so we didn't end up with much of a bill for that. We're obviously holding money that has been donated specifically for him, and we're holding that until we know what the final bill is on his,
Yeah.
what was it, 4th. He has to go back on the 4th.
Yeah, he's go back to the fort, and I think there's another follow-up checkup after that fort. You know,
So there's stuff there. We'd like to thank very much those people who, the subscribers,
yeah. So
who
sent some gaps?
who
you know,
sent.
gaps to
No, I'm talking about the subscribers who sent links for
yeah for the who sent links
For
for the
the-
insulin.
yeah, for insulin and various medications. Apparently there are groups that are meeting this need for very poor people, and if you saw where Michael lives, you'll know that he lives in a tiny nipa hut at the end of a long road that's right on the water, and is not exactly doing great on that. So we're hoping to get that all organized so that it's not a continuing burden on us, but we want to see if we can get this boy on the road to recovery,
Yeah,
and that will mean making sure that he has the medication that he needs and that he's taking it, because apparently he's had some treatment before,
yeah.
and has not continued it.
Yeah, they didn't continue because
why was
according
that?
no, I think it's a year that they put insulin on him, but because of the financial status, you know, they cannot able to pay. They stop it. And I asked him why you didn't go to the government, because there are some government program that helps. And he says, oh, my parents, I just rely on them. And he says, you should tell your parents, it's your life, you know, you should find a way. You know, so again, just to continue. So to Sir Gareto sent $100 to Sir Little Bit Rich, who sent 10,166.12 pesos. To Sir Marshall, who sent 5,000 pesos. So the total is around 19,377.60 pesos.
This is just for Michael.
Yeah,
That's-
just for Michael. So we raised 19,377.60 pesos. So less the partial expenses, the check-up, because we go back, we have the follow-up check-up twice, and some insulin, and also some medicines for him after this prescription gives with the doctor after he discharged, you know, during his admission and discharge also, right?
Right.
So we got the expenses is 4,550. So less of that for we have the remaining of 14,000, the leftover of 14,827.60. We keep it because on January 4, Michael will go back for another laboratory test, and then he's going back to the doctor, and I think the doctor will prescribe some medications. But I already advised to the parents that try to negotiate to the barangay health center, and because there are some programs with the government to give pre-medications to those in need, you know, so
He certainly is in need.
yeah, he's certainly in need. So just in case there are some medicines or prescriptions that is not available on the government, government lineup or programs, we can provide that to Michael. So at least she has funds safely 14,827.60 pesos.
Right, now let me explain that how we work on that.
Yeah.
The point is that when we put the story up of these individuals, we put their story up, and it is their story. It's not Michael's father or Michael's mother or his aunt or his uncle or Uncle Tom Cobley and all. It's for Michael, and that's what it's for. Our job as, if you like, trustees of this money is to make sure that the money is used for him.
Yeah, not for the rice,
Right?
not for the brothers' rice.
That's right, not for anything else. So, unless a donor actually says, I want this money given over into the hand of this person, we make sure that the money is used for the purpose
for the
that
intended.
it is meant. But, for instance, we just made a video showing Manning Lena receiving 4,000 pesos from the Good Samaritan.
Yeah,
That
Good
was
Samaritan.
his
The
code
Anonymous.
name, the Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan wanted Manning Lena to receive, it was $100, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's $100.
Which worked out at 4,000 something or other, 4,800. Well, we made sure that we made a video of counting that money out to Lena. That's where it went, because it was the express wish of the donor, the Good Samaritan. Now, in other cases where, say for instance, with Nisa has one hell of a bill coming up. Now, the chances are that with what we have and the money that still continues to come in, hopefully, for Nisa's operation, right? For Nisa's operation. Now, Beth and I have signed a form saying that we will be responsible for that bill.
Yeah. Because that's one of the
Okay.
requirements for charity,
Right.
so that she will be having discounts in the hospital.
Right.
You know?
Now, it may be a little bit like Russian roulette for us, because we're saying, well, in the final analysis, we'll pay the bill. Now, call it self-survival or whatever you want to call it, but the surgeon that we talked to in the first instance said, best to have 500,000 pesos in hand. Now that translates to about $11,000. So, for anybody who's thinking, well, wait a minute, they're getting all this charity and all this discounts and everything, probably get it for 100,000. You know, what's happening to the rest of that money? Well, I tell you what's happening to the rest of that money. It's in hand, and it will be used to make sure that Nisa has the help that she wants, that she needs. And we are not going to let her go back to that hovel that she's living in right now with a dirt floor and no doors and windows.
Yeah, after the operation.
Okay, so this is the plan. Let's suppose that it's, say, 400 or even 350. People will be thinking, well, what's going to happen to the rest? Well, what's going to happen to the rest is that we're going to make sure that this, by then, hopefully, newly operated on Nisa will be arriving home to a home that is worthy of being called that. Right at the moment, she lives really in like a hovel with a dirt floor, and has been trying to survive in that ridiculous situation for a long, long time. We're going to change that. We have to get running water to that house, the one that we're going to build. We have to get power to the house too. Now, we've organized these things so that they don't just benefit Nisa. That's the idea of what we do. We try to bring change to a community as a whole. We found that there is a well already dug, but that just needs to be improved, and that's what we'll be working at. We'll be improving that well, and that's the well that's at the property of Lisel.
Yeah, Lisel, and the other mountain, you know.
Right.
And then,
But close.
yeah, just closer, because Brother Timio went to Nisa's property and the aunties, you know, just a little neighbor, you know. And then Pastor Timio says that it's very difficult to find a spring, you know. So
There was no great
yeah,
water source.
there's no great water source. So they
Timio works with a dowser,
yeah.
right, in the good old-fashioned way, and he finds water. Now, he couldn't find any water that was a good source. So the obvious thing to do then is to go to where there is a source. We can improve that well at Lisel's for her and her family, who we've already helped, who you have already helped. And we can improve that well, put a pump in, we can pump the water up to some good storage containers, and then we can feed by gravity down to Nisa's house and Nisa's auntie's house, and also the house of the lady, the cousin that we're going to hire to take care of Nisa when she comes out of hospital. Okay, so that's the idea, and that's what would happen to that's what would happen to the money that's remaining. So the other thing that we would like to expound on is why we would keep the money in trust for those projects that they're supposed to be for. Now, the Filipino way is, so I got some dirt in my hair. The Filipino way is to share. It is a fact of life. And it works, in this case, it works against our intentions to get medical help to some of the people that we actually are trying to help.
Yeah.
So, you may have seen the video where we actually went to hand over at the behest of the donor, to hand over, I think it was 5,000 pesos, wasn't it?
Yeah, we handed Manorado.
No, I'm talking about Nisa.
Yeah, yes, for Nisa.
I'm talking about Nisa. The example I'm trying to give you is Nisa.
We handed
we were about to give over
5,000 to Nisa.
Right, and we asked her, would you rather have this money in your hand, or would you rather put it to the operation costs? And she said, I want it to go to the operation costs. Now, actually, I thought, well, she's going to need a little money. She just lives this simple life out here, and we're going to be providing all of the food and medication. But we gave 500 back so that she had some money in her hand. The 4,500 went towards her fund. All right. Now, there's a very good reason for this, because if the cash is in hand, it will disappear. Now, it's just a fact of life. We can't afford it to disappear. We want the money there when we need it, and putting it into the hands of, say, Nisa or Michael, it's not going to be there when we need it. So it will have been spent. Now, will it have been wasted? No, it won't. But it's not the project that we have in mind and what you, the donors, gave money to do. You want, like us, to see a healthy, well, back straight Nisa.
Yeah.
And that's what
that's
the goal is here. Okay?
Yeah, and just to add on, you know, because before the giving of that 5,000 to Nisa, Nisa told me that her aunties, some relatives who find out that we help Nisa, because, you know, we're in the province, in the rural, even the next town, the next barangay knows the business,
everything.
you know,
Okay.
everything.
It's the jungle drums. Believe me, it's the grapevine. It's the Filipino grapevine, and it's
So now,
much better than television, I can tell you.
So when they found out, the relatives, the aunties, they go to Nisa and says, oh, can I borrow 1,000? Can I borrow that money?
And borrow in the
Yeah,
Philippines
don't worry.
means it's never coming
we're
back.
going to pay back next next week or
On
next,
Tuesday.
you know.
It'll be paid on Tuesday by 10 o'clock, honestly.
And then Nisa says to her aunties, you know, I don't have that, I don't have money. And he says, oh, we heard that Beth, you know, Beth help you, you know, that foreigner above the mountain help you. And he said, no, yes, they helped me, but the money it's for my operations, and the money was been in the safe in their in their place, you know, or in Bates, you know. She
I
says
hope she didn't say that.
because it's not
We'll
here.
be having
it's
some
in the
very
bank.
unwelcome visitors around here.
You know, it's in Bates. It's in us. You know, so
it's in a fund
it's
for
in the,
that.
Yeah,
you know,
so but she explained how, I don't know how she explained that to her aunties.
Probably not very well. Okay.
You know, so now she says, I cannot give you any money because I don't have. And then it seems that maybe the aunties, as what I understand, the aunties is a little bit paranoid. Why? Can you just give us? You know, don't be a little bit, you know.
So now, at one point in this drama, you will, if you've followed this line of events, you'll know that at one point Nisa said, she texted Beth and said, I don't want to have the operation. And when we really looked at it and went through the Filipino reasoning and logic, Beth came up with this as the answer. Probably with that much money, if they would consider, well, if you don't have the operation, this will be wonderful because you would have that money.
Yeah, because they know that we got. I
Yes.
think the last week, the previous weeks, we told them that we have around 250,000 for the operations.
For the operation.
Yeah, and then
So
the
they
next
think,
day,
oh great,
the next day she
we can
says,
share that
no.
money out.
no operation.
Right, so then suddenly she's been persuaded, well, wait a minute, you know, you don't really need that operation, do you? I mean, for heaven's sake, look at you, you're doing fine, you can walk and everything. So there would have been a source, there would be an open ATM machine without a card that would have been there, and that was what my Filipino wife
No, it's just a
thought.
conclusion. I don't want
Yes.
to confront, you know, because it's a little bit.
What did
because,
I just say?
Yeah, because this is what happened.
That's what you thought,
Yeah,
honey, isn't it?
not really, just an opinion, because this is what happened. Sunday, we talk about her fans. Golden, noisy.
Let me just explain that we have a cat at the moment that is completely paranoid.
Sunday, we tell Nisa that this is the funds that you have. You got 250,000. That's Sunday morning, and then Monday morning we receive a text from her that she says that, oh, I will not continue the operations because I'm scared, you know. And I says, it's okay. It's normal that you're scared, but you know, you hear the doctor that 99% success, you know, and your operation should be conducted, because if not, the other bones will be affected, and if it happens, you will be paralyzed and dead, you know, because that's the only options. I asked the doctor, is it okay if she will not undergo the operation and just let it be, you know? And the doctor said no, she should be operated.
She has no choice.
Yeah, so I said, and Denisa replied, I'll just surrender it to God. And I says, come on, God answered your prayers already, so grab it. Don't let the opportunity pass by, you know. And he said,
Right,
I just
honey,
let me finish for a while.
This is the short version that we're going on. Remember now. So
Yeah, just let me finish. So
on with the God thing. Go on.
so I replied to that, and she says, I will not continue. And I says, okay, is that your final decision? And she said, yes, that's my final decision. And I says, come on, think it twice. And she says, oh, it's final decision. And I replied again, and I'm a little bit irritated. And I said, okay, if it is your final decision, we will return back all the money to those
donors.
to the donors, to the senders, because the money that they send for you is for your operations,
Right.
not
Not for your relatives to go on vacations to Baraka, okay?
You know, so just continue.
So anyway, we dealt with the God thing, you know, that God's already answered your prayers, and then we asked, well, we wised her up then and made her realize that just because she doesn't have the operation doesn't mean that she's suddenly won the lotto. So we said we would go around and see her. We went round and saw her. We talked to her. Now that she was aware that she wasn't going to have the money if she didn't have the operation, a little common sense came in, and God helped her to see the wisdom of having the operation, because it's the operation or just go back to the way that you were living before on the dirt floor in this hovel of a house. So I'm not trying to put it down, trying to be realistic about this, that we came in to bring a good resolution to this whole thing. That was the idea, and that was the story that we gave, and that was what you, the donors, helped with, and that's where we're going. So now you've had the breakdown of the money.
Yeah.
We're holding that, and we're holding it to make sure that either she has the operation, or we give the donors the opportunity to say what they want the money, what they want to happen to the money. That's what would happen. Ethically, that's what we do. That's what we would do, and there's no going back on that. We will get in touch with all of the donors and say what's going to happen. But that's not going to be a choice that's there, because she now realizes the reality of the situation, broke and broken, or she goes ahead and has the operation. So what else did we need to talk about?
Yeah, that's all. That's
all.
Just to explain why he said we keep the gaps of Lisa and Michael.
We hold
Yeah,
those in trust,
Yeah.
so that they will have it.
Yeah.
Now our track record would confirm
Yes,
this.
yeah. And then
Plus-
because we wanted that the money is intended for that specific, you know, not for the
Yes.
brothers' rice, not
Right.
for
Not for buying
the debts
bicycles
of
or cell
sisters,
phones.
relatives, you know,
Right.
or cell phones or bikes.
Right, that's the whole point. As somebody suggested, why don't you buy the young boy a bicycle, and
Yeah.
why don't you buy Nisa a cell phone? She has a cell phone.
Yes, you
Okay.
already have a cell phone, and somebody suggests, can you buy a cell phone to her? And I said sorry, because we gathered some gaps for Nisa's surgery. I'm just a little bit, you know, some people trying to dictate buy that.
Yeah, we're keeping focused on what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. So anyway, have we waffled on enough here?
Yeah. So please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Have a good day. Happy New Year. God bless.
Happy New Year
Bye-bye.
to you. Bye for now.